All right, moving our way quickly through sections 1 and 2. This one's on respiration. Respiration is the cellular breakdown of food molecules such as sugar to release energy that they contain. This is not the same thing as breathing. Again, breathing requires a set of lungs. Not all living things have lungs, but all living things will go through respiration. That includes your plants. So plant cells and animal cells will respirate, same with bacteria cells and other organisms. So again, this is our process of breaking down simple food molecules and releasing the energy from them. Compared to photosynthesis, like mentioned in the last video, it is kind of the opposite. In photosynthesis, we talked about how carbon dioxide and water get turned into oxygen and glucose through the use of sunlight. Here we are going to take glucose and oxygen. We are going to turn them into carbon dioxide and water, and we're also going to get ATP, which is our energy that we actually use to do whatever we do. So if your muscles need energy to lift heavy things, it uses ATP as its energy. So if you have the photosynthesis formula memorized, the respiration formula is just the opposite. So let's compare that to breathing. Breathing involves moving air in and out of your lungs. Obviously, only organisms that have lungs can breathe. So fish do not technically breathe because they don't have lungs, but they do respirate. And respiration is getting the energy from a cellular level. So here's a little chart that will help you determine the difference between the two. Here you got breathing is intaking fresh air and removing foul air. It's a physical process, happens on a bigger scale, as opposed to respiration, which is a biochemical process. You are pulling apart molecules here. Breathing, you're just passing air in and out of you. There is no energy released from breathing. However, when you do respirate, you do get that ATP being formed, which is the energy used to do things. Breathing happens outside of cells. Again, it is going to be your bigger organs, your lungs, that do it, while respiration is going to happen inside cells, particularly the mitochondria, which are your powerhouse of the cells. Breathing does not require enzymes. If we are happening inside a cell, the enzymes are going to be breaking down your different molecules. And again, breathing happens on organs, and this occurs in every single cell in your body. So all your cells need to respirate because all of them need energy in order to do whatever their job is. This is 2 stages as well, and again, the SciShow video will go more in depth in this. That's even more in depth than your book goes, so it is important to watch that and take some notes on that as well. But basically, we're going to have our first step, which is going to break down complex sugars and starches into simple sugars. We do release some energy doing so, but not a lot. Once we get these simple sugars, we're going to move them to the mitochondria, and we are going to break them down even more, and this is where the oxygen is required. And we're going to get a lot more energy from them after they go into the mitochondria. Your book also talks about 2 types of fermentation, which are ways cells are going to respirate with the lack of oxygen. The one that you're probably most familiar with is alcoholic fermentation. So when you put yeast in your alcoholic beverages or whatever you're making, it's going to not have oxygen available to it, so it's going to struggle a bit, and it will start breaking down sugars without it, and one of the products of that would be the actual alcohol. It will also produce carbon dioxide, so your bread can rise, and your alcoholic drinks get carbonated that way as well. The second one, which you might not be aware of, but you've definitely experienced in your life, is the production of lactic acid. This is going to happen when your body is not getting enough oxygen for all your cells to use. So therefore, some of your cells are not going to have oxygen in them. This happens a lot when you do physical activity. If you run for an extended amount of time, you get short of breath because you want to take in more oxygen. You're using more oxygen faster than you are actually taking in, and your body is going to start producing energy without the oxygen and make a buildup of lactic acid. This lactic acid causes that burning feeling in your muscles when you stop exercising a bit. Your muscles get sore because you are processing this lactic acid instead of going through the proper respiration in your cells. But it is not really that dangerous unless you overexert yourself. And you pretty much just start feeling uncomfortable and want to stop exercising anyways.